Hello everyone and welcome to my sort of review between X-Plane 12 and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Kind of was on the fence about this all day. I did some videos, put the videos away, walked away, came back, did it again. And I think I'm just going to put it together, put it to you how I see it. Uh, the aircraft itself, the interior is okay. The interior is great, actually. The interior is very good. Except for that static piece up on the cowling there, that yellow piece, it never changes. It's absolutely 2D, it's flat. Light never affects it, nothing affects it. It's absolutely terrible and distracting. All the rest is 3D. I don't know why they did that. As far as the airport goes, the airport is excellent. I will say that the airport's great, but look at the boundary around the airport. It's like, here we plopped in a great airport in a mess. That's the best I can say about it. It's a mess. They nailed the airport, absolutely nailed the airport. We'll see here now, I jump into the Flight Simulator 2020, and we can see the interior is great also, well detailed, slightly different Cub, but Cub nonetheless. You can see here, again, there's buildings here that are not here in real life, which X-Plane didn't have, but X-Plane also didn't have any of the fields. We'll see here in a second. They did have, this does miss 2 of the hangars that are there, but it also has all the fields that are there. So, that are absolutely missing in X-Plane. It's kind of great that X-Plane had one of the crafted airports that I fly in and out of every day. This is my backyard. That I don't fly in, but I'm going to fly in sim all the time. And we're literally going to follow the same route through town. And you will see just absolutely amazing differences. This is the X-Plane 12 again. And if you keep an eye out, really, this thing is down there amongst the trees. You keep seeing palm trees. I'm a 20-hour drive north of the closest palm tree. But there are palm trees here in the Adirondacks. Now, it's a silly thing, but that's silly. Like, here's where I grew up. The roads I grew up on, they're hard to even tell where my house was. This is how, literally, lack of better word, it's awful. It's literally terrible. If you want to fly down low, it's terrible. I get its initial release. I get that. I'm willing to give it a revisit after. But for now, it literally is terrible as far as the exterior visuals go. It's garbage. I'm hoping updates fix that. Now we're back in the Microsoft Flight Sim. You can see, you recognize businesses. Certain buildings are in the right places. The larger buildings and motels are where they're supposed to be. The hospitals are where it's supposed to be. The training centers where it's supposed to be. Everything about this, I can see my house where I grew up. I know what block I'm on. It just, the train station is a train station. The Olympic Arena's there and the speed skating oval's there, which are big parts of the town and should show up on the satellite photos, but they don't show up in X-Plane at all. They're not there. Another issue I have with X-Plane is every single bit of water has a beach around it. As you can tell from here, there's a beach right there, but there is no beaches elsewhere. Now we're going to take a look at Whiteface Mountain, which is a ski center, ski resort. We're back in X-Plane. And you can see here, the castle on top, the research center up there. The vast majority of the ski runs and mountain biking runs, not there. Some of them are underneath those absolutely perfectly planted in rows trees. And it even gets so bad that some of the planting in perfect rows goes from horizon to horizon. Like right in front of the aircraft, that's not a path. That's not a telephone line. Those are perfectly straight rows of trees. So, yeah, I'm being cynical. I will revisit this absolutely afterwards. I will say the aircraft flies incredible. I will give it that. The flight characteristics of the aircraft are on point. It flies really well, but I can't get past that 2D cowl, drives me bonkers. As you'll see here, we'll switch over to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. You can see up on the left there is the research station. You can easily see the mountain bike and ski trails. There's no denying what this hill is for. And yeah, it's quite obvious it's mountain bike rungs and ski trails. What can I say? It's disappointing. You know, I have to say I was expecting a hell of a lot more. Like, at least next gen, it really is like comparing an Atari 2600 with a Nintendo 64. You know, they shouldn't even be compared. That's why I kept walking away from it today, saying it shouldn't be compared. I'm trying to find something nice to say. The airports they have down, absolutely, the airports are down, but they look like they're just stamped in amongst the mess. The aircraft is terrible. The tires spin backwards from the external view. The tires are constantly spinning. Shadows don't go across the aircraft. They do across the dash, but the cowl parts and stuff like that, they stay absolutely static. The sound is good. They don't even get the roads right. Like right here by my house, this is coming up on my house. They have a 4-lane highway right there on the other side of the river from my house. That's not even close. There's no highway even near here. There's my house is right there where the pointer is, and it's not there. And 90% of the houses on the left there are not there. And there is no super highway running through this little town that has literally one traffic light, and it's a blinky light. It's not even a red, green, yellow light. So the bridges are in the right place. I'll give it that. The golf course looks more like a golf course than the one in the Microsoft Flight Sim, so I'll give it that. I am trying to find good points, but those backward spinning tires constantly drive me nuts. The lighting never changes on the top half of the plane, the wings at all, ever. I don't care what you do with it. The lighting is flat, static. It never moves. The shadows never move across it. It just drives you bonkers. And just little things like that, just so out of place and just so, like, last gen, the best way to put it. It's like 2 generations ago, this was what you'd expect on a flight sim. Not like this. This is insane. The difference is night and day. Look at this, coming down the river. It looks like a river. My garage is there, even though it's still on the wrong side of the road, but it's there. My house is tucked in the trees right there. Just all these houses are really there, not like that other one that every house on it's just a little block they put alongside the road saying a million houses. And that's just a regular 2-lane road. This looks like town. Like if I was to get in a real plane and fly over here right now, you would recognize virtually every bit of this. Where in X-Plane 12 you have trouble seeing it. I mean, the Microsoft bridges are shit. I'll give them that. They're absolutely terrible. They always have been, but they do have better bridges for the ones that aren't handcrafted. I'll give it that. The golf course looks better in the other one, but this looks more like a real golf course that hasn't been taken care of, which is what it is. It's actually an old golf course. No longer in use. So there's definitely a lot of good and bad with it. But here we can see one of the few really cool things you'll see as we come in. If you look, there is a train track down there with an active train on it. So that's cool. They recognize the train track and actually put a train on the train track. So I'll give it that. That was cool. The flight characteristics are very good. Very, very good. I do a terrible job of landing, but I get it down. Full damages are on. One other thing I hate, when you go out to the outside view and come back into the plane, it forgets where you left your view and goes back to the default view. I can't say enough how that silly little piece of 2D cowl sticking out in front of this thing drove me nuts the whole time I flew it. because it never changes. Doesn't matter what the lighting does, doesn't matter what anything does. So the plane flew well, looked good from the interior. Exterior was terrible. The wheels going backwards in the air were terrible. The trees are terrible. I can find very, very little good to say about this. If you're going to shell out money, save it. That's all I can say. If you're going to shell out money, save it for now. It's not worth it. I know it's a beta build. I'm hoping it gets better, so I'm willing to revisit it after. But until then, do not buy. Big letters, don't buy. It's like buying an old used car when you got a brand new Ferrari sitting out there to buy.